Joining me now to understand the significance of all we're witnessing right now, retired U.S. Navy Admiral James Stavridis, who served as NATO Supreme Allied Commander. He's now a senior military analyst, partner at the investment firm Carlyle Group. Always good to have you on, sir. Thanks so much for joining.
Always good to be with you, Jim. One quick point. I tweeted the end of the war in Libya in 2011, and you and I are old enough to remember that. I think that was the first time in military history a commander has tweeted the end of hostilities. But what we are seeing from the president, I think, is a enormous move on his part. We'll have to see how much reality is in there.
Yeah, the question is, I imagine the president can read Israel's intentions here, given the closeness of the relationship. How well can he communicate or understand Iran's position here? And can we have confidence in Trump's interpretation of Iran's position going forward?
I think in the tactical moment, he's got pretty good access to what's going on. And I highly believe that he has put out something that he thinks is true. And we're going to have to kind of wait and see. Look, I'm a hope for the best, but plan for the worst kind of person. And so I'm hoping everything in that tweet comes to be true. What I worry about, and you've talked about it a bit just now, can be summed up in three letters: BDA, Battle Damage Assessment. And if we discover over the next few weeks, and it will be weeks, not months, but we discover that there's still almost 1,000 pounds of enriched uranium missing in action. We discover that maybe all those centrifuges weren't inside Fordow when it was hit. Maybe there's a cache of those somewhere else. Or we discover through signals intelligence, listening, that the Iranians are still talking about a program. Those are the kind of things that we're going to discover as we do BDA, Battle Damage Assessment, and that may require kind of resetting the assumptions. But from where we sit at the moment, I was certainly happy to see the tweet, and let's hope it leads to a negotiation.
You wrote a piece for Bloomberg laying out three potential paths for Iran to take. The first, unconditional surrender. A second one where Iran tries to rescue as much of its nuclear program as possible and do some symbolic retaliation. Then a third option, which you called a go big strategy, with far broader attacks, including shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. Is it safe to say that Iran is taking that middle option based on what you're seeing here?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the Goldilocks solution. You know, you want to get the bed that's just the right size. And I think they've made a pretty rational choice. You know, in a perfect world, they would wake up on a Monday morning and realize the world is never going to let them assemble a nuclear weapon. I don't think that realization has landed, but I think it's door number 2 from the article, which is performative strikes followed by a return to negotiations. No doubt they are trying to recreate some semblance of that nuclear program somewhere, but I think it's been damaged badly. That gives us on our side leverage. If we can then get to the negotiating table, I think you can start to put together a longer lasting peace, which ultimately would be the hope of President Trump's tweet.
Final question, if I can. Given the increased closeness of the relationship, even alliance, I think you could call it, between Russia and Iran, and keeping in mind that Iran has supplied weapons to Russia for its ongoing invasion of Ukraine, particularly those Shahad drones, could we expect Russia to attempt to come to Iran's rescue here, try to help it resurrect its nuclear program?
I certainly hope not, and I don't think so. I think Russia will confine its support to diplomacy. They may provide some air defense capability. That I could very much see them helping the Iranians reconstruct the S-300, maybe the S-400, the advanced air defense systems. I don't think Vladimir Putin has the global capital to restart a nuclear weapons program. If I was going to worry, by the way, Jim, I'd worry less about Moscow and more about Pyongyang. I'd worry about North Korea doing something along those lines. They have been strangely silent, the North Koreans. There's a lot of mischief that comes out from them, as you well know. I think that's a vector to worry about. But Russia, no, I don't see them leaning in and helping reconstruct the nuclear program.
Admiral James Stavridis, always good to chat.
Thanks, Jim.